To understand what someone is thinking, you must learn 3 powerful techniques. These methods are essential if you wish to truly grasp the thoughts hidden behind someone's words and expressions. Once you master them, you'll be able to perceive what's going on in anyone's mind with ease. Let me share with you a profound Buddhist story that reveals how to read people's minds through awareness and observation. Long ago, in a peaceful village, 2 brothers lived together. The elder brother was blind, so he mostly stayed at home. The younger brother worked hard as a farmer. However, wild animals often wandered into their fields and damaged the crops. The younger brother became distressed. After much thought, he came up with an idea. He said to himself, "Why don't I ask my blind brother to help guard the field? He doesn't need to see, he can just sit there and shout if he hears any animal noises." He built a small hut in the middle of the field and placed his elder brother inside. The younger brother explained, "Brother, if you hear any sounds of animals, just yell. Your voice will scare them away and protect our crops." The blind brother agreed. From then on, he sat in the hut and shouted whenever he heard animals nearby. For many days, this worked perfectly. One day, a deer entered the field and damaged the fence before running away. Moments later, a king passed by, chasing the deer. He saw the blind brother sitting in the hut and asked, "Have you seen a deer pass this way?" The blind man replied, "Your Majesty, I am blind. I cannot see, but I can tell you this, the animal that left this field is not worth chasing. You're wasting your time." The king was puzzled. "How can you know this if you're blind?" he asked. "Are you lying to me?" The blind brother calmly responded, "The creature you are pursuing is a pregnant doe. I've never heard of a noble king hunting a pregnant animal. That is why I say, she is not worth the chase." The king was stunned. How can a blind man know this, he wondered. He turned to his commander and said, "Bring me that animal, alive. I must confirm if what this man says is true." The commander obeyed. After some time, he returned with news, the deer was indeed pregnant. The king was astonished. Still confused, the king asked, "Tell me the truth, how did you know this?" The blind brother replied, "Ask me anything, and I will answer truthfully." The king said, "You are truly wise. So, tell me, is my wife loyal to me or not?" The blind brother responded, "Your Majesty, that is a strange question. You've been married for years. Why such doubt now?" But the king insisted. "You must answer me. If you refuse, I will punish you severely." The blind brother said, "If you truly want the answer, you must do one thing for me first." The king asked, "What must I do?" The blind man replied, "Let me be alone in a room with your wife." The king was furious at first, but eventually agreed. He ordered his commander to place them together in a private chamber. Inside, the blind man said he wished to touch the queen. Outraged, the queen began beating him with her hands and feet. Later, the blind man returned to the king and said, "Your wife is not faithful." Shocked, the king confronted the queen. "Tell the truth, or face death," he said. The queen confessed, "I am not faithful." The king was shaken. He returned to the blind man, "How did you know she was unfaithful?" The blind brother replied, "When I told her I wanted to touch her, she got so angry that she touched me entirely, hitting me with her hands and feet. If she truly valued purity, she would have simply said no. Instead, she allowed full contact while beating me. Is that the action of a faithful woman?" The king nodded in understanding. "You are wise. Now answer one final question and I will release you." The king asked, "Am I truly my father's son?" The blind man said, "That question does not serve you. You are the ruler of this land, why doubt your bloodline?" But the king insisted. "I must know." The blind man said, "I will tell you, but promise not to be angry." The king promised. "You are indeed your father's son," the blind man said, "but you live under the influence of a stingy merchant. Shocked, the king rushed to his mother. He pleaded with her to tell the truth. His mother said, "You are your father's son. But during your birth, a miserly merchant was present, and his energy has shadowed your life." The king was amazed and returned to the blind man, asking, "How did you know?" The blind man replied, "Despite all my help, you haven't offered me a single reward. That's how I knew you were raised in the shadow of miserliness." The king laughed. "Ask for anything, it is yours. But tell me, how do you give such accurate answers?" The blind brother replied, "I may be blind, but I observe deeply. Every mind speaks its own silent language. This language can be seen in the body, through expressions, movement, and reactions. To read someone's mind, we must first bring our own mind into the present. A mind lost in the past cannot observe the present clearly. If you want to understand others, you must first calm your own mind. Now I will teach you the 3 techniques," he said. The first is, observe the eyes. Though eyes don't speak, they reveal everything. I once had sight, and learned this from the great Gautam Buddha. Eyes show where a person's thoughts are. A wandering gaze means distraction. A steady gaze shows truth and openness. Avoidance may signal fear or dishonesty. Pupil size, eye redness, and even how the eyebrows move, these subtle cues reveal emotions, stress, curiosity, or joy. He continued. The second technique is, study the face. Facial expressions are the canvas of the soul. A frown, a tight mouth, raised eyebrows, all speak louder than words. A real smile reaches the eyes. A fake one stops at the lips. I once met someone who claimed they were fine, but a small wrinkle between their brows told me otherwise. When I asked, they opened up. Facial cues reveal what's hidden in the heart. The third technique, said the blind man, is understanding body language. Gestures say what words sometimes hide. Tapping fingers can mean impatience. Crossed arms show resistance or discomfort. Leaning forward means interest. Even the way someone touches their face reveals thought, worry, or doubt. I met a man tapping his fingers while trying to sell me something. I knew he was anxious and negotiated better. Watch carefully. The body whispers the mind's secrets. If you combine these 3 methods with a focused mind, you can understand anyone. But without presence, you will miss the signs. Great masters and enlightened souls can read others because their minds are calm, rooted in the now. That stillness allows them to listen deeply, not just to words, but to what lies beneath. And with that, dear listener, this Zen journey comes to a close. Remember, the path to reading others begins with knowing yourself. Focus your mind. Stay present. And observe without judgment. At Storybuss, we thank you for being part of this mindful journey. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and strive to be better every day.